Hello, hello, and welcome to Love and Lunch, your weekly 20-minute Facebook Live on love, life, and intimacy with my good friend Joe Cooper and me, Joanna Keeble. I am founder and coach at bigbeautifulboundaries.com. You can friend me on Facebook for a chat. You can also find my free Facebook group, Big Beautiful Boundary Builders, where we're talking about relationships, boundaries, trauma recovery, all sorts. So yeah, I'll drop a link to that below later on. Over to you, Joe.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. I love your introduction. It was so sharp. I just had to name that. I was just like,
Get through it. Just get through it all.
Love it. Yeah, I'm Jo Cooper, dating, sex and relationship coach. I help women to identify and come to their truth so they can have pleasure, they can meet their desire and their needs within the relationship, so they feel fulfilling, they feel wholesome, and they just feel a lot of love. I have a Facebook group called Empowering Women to Ignite Their Desires. I'm doing which I'll drop below. I'm doing a masterclass this week, super excited. I think I've got about 30 women already who have signed up. So I'll drop the link to that. It'd be beautiful to have you there. And I can, yeah, on the link it tells you a bit more about the masterclass. I won't go into that now. However, yeah, what was I going to say? I forgot. But anyway, I am here and yeah, loving life at the moment.
All right, and part of that loving life is pleasure.
Pleasure.
One word.
I'm so excited.
So good when you can access it, right?
It's what, sorry?
I'm going to take this off. I was saying pleasure is so good when you can access it. That's just what came up this morning when I was thinking about pleasure.
I love that, and I'll say something about that. Sorry, I've got a hay fever, so my nose is a bit yeah, itchy, runny, everything in between. Yeah, really interesting. So I've just done an amazing 4-day pleasure mastery retreat, and yeah, I'm actually going to give a shout out to this woman. She's actually amazing. She's called Elaine, and accessing pleasure through all different kind of modalities in terms of like breath and movement and touch. It actually opened up something, and she said this thing actually. She went, when you can access anger, because anger and passion are very similar but opposite sides of the coin, right? So the more deeply you're able to access your anger, but be able to hold it and work with it in a way that you can release it and feel it through your body, and to hold yourself in that place. So, because we all need to feel anger, and if we don't, then we're actually suppressing a lot. And so when we can really begin to release that, feel it and work with it in a way that it's not going to harm others.
Yes.
Like, that's the thing, like that's when it becomes destructive, when we like blame or lash out at other people. It's like taking responsibility and being held in that space and being able to, you know, really transmute that through the body is super powerful. That is actually giving you agency and both access to have the type of pleasure in your life. And you know what, like, I share another thing, like pleasure actually increases like white blood cells, which is thing for like longevity.
It's true.
It's good for health, it's good for happiness. And it's like, so often we neglect pleasure, or we put other things above pleasure. And actually for me, and it is actually my work ethos and how I coach people as well, but actually to put pleasure, like pleasure is like key, it's fundamental, it's part of like, as much as I need to drink water, as much as I need to like be with pleasure. Same, you know, but different. Possibly not different, but you know. And I honestly can say, like, through this and through my own personal practice, I think I actually feel like a different woman, and that's actually come from like love and acceptance. And I actually feel way more connected to my body than I ever have done before. And for me, that's priceless. Absolutely priceless, that love, you know,
Agreed.
especially when, you know, I have probably not been as active, or my body's not as toned as what it normally is, whatever that is, right? Because I was such on like a strict regime of like, I need to do this and this, and if I don't, then I'm going to get fat. You know, that was my driving force to be able to get up and do a solid kind of fitness practice every morning. And then I think, yeah, one of the beautiful things actually, that, you know, one of the gifts that I've actually got from lockdown is actually to be able to come in and be truthful to my actual own energetic rhythm. And actually, when I'm in that place, like, what is available there? Because I'm not bypassing anything, I'm actually getting to the truth. And like that truth
Right.
in that moment, like the pleasure has just exploded. I'm just like, wow, this is life. You know, pleasure is my life force. Pleasure is my
Gorgeous.
ecstasy. Pleasure
It's
is my
funny when you're
power.
talking about water versus pleasure. And it's just like water. You know, the basic thing is, yeah, at the bottom line, you don't necessarily die immediately without pleasure, but you're not living. You know what I mean? And it is actually really important for our mental and physical health. Totally. Oh, wow.
Definitely.
Oh, I've written a couple of key things. You know, I love to write things down.
I know.
I'm in recovery, bear with me. So I write less and less, and I do let myself write things down, especially because I have fatigue, so my short-term memory gets messed with sometimes. And so it's nice to let myself write down little badges of keywords that are going to bring me pleasure and make it easy for me. So I've written down inappropriate joy. So a few years back, I was at an event. I was at an event where with Rev Jo Coleman. Now, I'm not religious, and I'm not sure what she classifies herself as, spiritual leader or religious or a bit of both. But we had this incredible event, and she was leading this this day. And in part of the day, we went outside into nature. We had to go away and spend, I don't know how long it was, an hour or something, just being in nature to find your answers. And it's that thing of sort of giving yourself time and space and silence and allowing yourself to notice what you need and notice your truth and that sort of thing. And you weren't supposed to take anything with you. I took I had my phone with me, and I wrote some notes. All right, here we are back at my writing down. But I wrote the phrase, like, you know, inappropriate joy, to be able to experience inappropriate joy, or to have approval for my inappropriate joy. And what that is for me is that spot where, like, the world is so fucked up and there's so much pain and suffering. How can I find my permission to be joyful? How can I just let myself dance? How can I let myself savor this deliciousness when I know that I'm privileged and there's people who don't have this? And so I was out there struggling with that and being like, yeah, like, is it okay to feel joyful? How can I ever feel joyful knowing that someone is always suffering? And that was the question that I had as I went back into this session with Rev Jo, and she led us through this kind of, I think we were singing and swaying, and she was just ad-libbing, and she said, your inappropriate joy. And I was just blown. I was like, yes. It's, you know, when something like shoots electricity through your whole body. I was like, yeah, that's the message. That's what today is about for me. She said, your inappropriate joy. you people who can access that joy even in times of adversity. She said your inappropriate joy is so needed in this world. And it was just, that was what I needed to hear. And it is the reverence of joy, of pleasure, of that access to that nourishment. And it is nourishment. And I think we get caught up often in this kind of false humility of never letting ourselves be nourished by that because other people are suffering. And it instead of it being like right to feel bad all the time because the world is not okay, it actually kind of leaves us in a worse position to be of any use. That's the thing for me. And when you compare it to water, it's like food, it's like water. You have a responsibility to feed yourself. If you care, we don't get to say, oh, because I care, I'm gonna be a martyr and not feed myself.
Mm-hmm.
Feed yourself.
I loved what you said. There was one thing in particular that I think is really important. It's like whatever's going on outside of ourselves, like we actually don't have any control. We actually have no control. And I think the thing that's really powerful around accessing and having permission over your sovereignty, your pleasure, is to know that actually it's a ripple effect.
Yeah.
Like everything is a ripple effect, right? And I know, because I've experienced before, if I'm having a bit of a down day or a day where I'm just feeling a bit nip, and I walk out, and for example, if I see, even when I see like my niece playing with other little children, it just opens my heart so much that I can't help to have a smile on my face. My heart is smiling, and it can actually change something so innocent like that. Really changes my mindset, and I actually come into the moment. I'm like, oh my God, this is so beautiful, so beautiful. And I
just
really
grabbed this.
resilient. What's resilient?
Yeah, because that's just what's popped up, is like resilience. That's the thing, isn't it? Like you're actually building yourself, filling yourself, strengthening yourself. Because the other thing this has brought up is, yesterday I was in a group where people ask for advice, and this woman was saying, was I wrong with the way I showed up in this conversation with my friend? And she shared some of the conversation, and it was just so distressed on both sides. And so I shared on my Instagram, I shared some of the, like, my response, which is like, you guys are empty. You're both worn down to the bone. So if you engage there, then yeah, it's going to be really scratchy. No one can really stay present and listen to each other and come from love, because you've got nothing left.
True.
So you've got
to. So true. I actually find the more pleasure I have in my life, and I was thinking, I don't know if I wrote about this yesterday, but basically that, yeah, maybe, but the more pleasure I have, the more resilience I have, right? So it's like, ding dong, pleasure up, babes. Get all the pleasure, like get everything, like juicify yourself, even if that's the word. Who fucking cares?
I kind of want to make that a hashtag.
I know,
or a t-shirt or something.
Do juicify myself. Like lubricate your organs, your muscles, your blood, your being, because I find that when I'm in this state, and it's interesting because two things happened, a couple of conversations that I had actually while I was on this course, two different people, and they came out with me with a lot of strong emotions, and I was like, oh my God, what was happening here? Experience anger, but in different types of form. And I was just like, oh, this is really interesting, but I could hold myself I didn't
Yeah.
go gobbly-goo, I didn't go wobbly, I didn't try and go into any kind of thought processes about what's going on for them. I thought, oh, they're having their experience, they've
Right.
expressed that they feel angry, that's okay, but I actually feel really fucking solid over here. I feel
Right. You
solid,
can, you've got that boundary. You
totes,
can still be
energetic.
compassionate.
Like an energetic boundary, but an energetic
Mm.
boundary of love. Like, I'm having my
Yeah.
experience here, and you're welcome to have your experience, but I don't need to fix you. I don't need to rescue you. I can
Yeah.
listen, but I'm not going to get absorbed by that energy, and that's
Mm.
okay. And I thought
Yeah.
that was like a perfect example actually of what you were just speaking about, because it is, the more juicy and hydrated you are and you can feel love and pleasure,
Yeah.
and you feel, you feel like your tank or whatever is, however you associate that thing of like filling up, it's like you can actually go out in the world and not get absorbed by other people's energies, right?
Yeah.
Like you, personally, from my own experience, I can stay in my lane. It's only when I start to like go into other people's lanes, it's almost like driving a car drunk. Not like I've done that, but I
Yeah.
can imagine, like
You
getting
know, we've all done it.
and it's just like,
What
oh
you
my
mean?
God, before I know it, I'm like in a car crash, and it's because I've met someone, gone over, tried to do some kind of weird shape-shifting thing, and it's just like not
Mm.
worked. And it's like the sovereignty is within you. Like, that is your power, is claiming you and being with you and loving you. And like all of that is just gorgeous. And to come into life and experiences from this place is actually going to radically transform your relationships, your
Yeah.
relationship to yourself, your relationship to others. And this is going to be life changing for anyone.
Yeah. And it's also how you can show up in service to others, right?
Mm.
On an individual level, on a societal level. Because in that conversation where you were receiving that charge from them, like, it wouldn't do them any favors if you were to get blown off course by that, if you were to, you know, enable them or go into their story, especially with coaching as well. You need to be able to take that charge and stay really anchored
Mm.
and grounded, and that helps to anchor the other person, the fact that you can take it. And
Totally.
I say take it, it's not really taking it, but you know what I
Mhm.
mean, the fact that you can stay present and witness that. Yeah.
Gorgeous. We've come to
Gorgeous.
the end. I can't believe this
I
is
love how we
so
end up just getting
juicy.
like juiced in ourselves. You and I end up, I think, if we didn't try and stick to a time limit, we'd just be here just going like just savoring what we've just created.
Yeah, something, yeah, really beautiful. I mean, yeah, there's so much to speak around on this topic, but
Yeah.
we are going to close our session for today. This has been fucking amazing. I am so grateful to have this space to speak with you all. Thank you for listening. If you have joined us today, it's been amazing. I get as much out of it as probably you do who are watching. And yeah, let's wrap up. So as I said, we'll both post our Facebook groups below. I've got a masterclass on Thursday at 7 p.m. UK time. I'm actually creating some sexy slides. I've never created slides for presentation, but there's something where my inner masculine's just like, I don't know, I'm feeling like a lot from him actually at the moment. So it's quite exciting. I'm going with it. So if you'd love to come to my masterclass, I'd love to have you. It's Melt, so you can have mind-blowing sex, exquisite attention, limitless love, and timeless connection in your life and relationship. So please join me, it'd be amazing. And if you're not able to come, still register, because I'll send you the link afterwards. Double whammy. So yay, that's what I've got happening this week. Joanna.
Cool. Well, yeah, so I'm going to drop my Facebook group link below. But you've also just reminded me, because you were like slides, and I went, because I love it. I love creating things. And you've reminded me that I've just created a workbook. It's called the Clarity Workbook, to bring some instant clarity to your situation where you are right now. Sort of Easter eggs, some answers, so that you come to your own revelations as you go through, and then leaves you with a greater, clearer sense of some changes that you might want to make and like the next steps. So I'm really excited about that. That will go up on my website, but for right now you have to contact me because I haven't sorted that out just yet. So that's a little tip off about what's about to happen. Yeah. All right, I think that's me done right now. Yeah,
Me too.
I'll drop the group below.
Defos. And if you watch a replay, #replay, we'd love to feel you, see you, be with you in the recorded space as well. So sending you a lot of love until next week. If you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, drop them below. We'd love to hear that. And you can always reach out to us both as well. We both offer different things. So yeah. All right then. Lots of love. Ooh.